everyone, welcome back to Coder Stories. I'm Sneha, and yesterday I gave the AWS Solutions Architect Associate exam and I passed the exam. So while the memory was still fresh in my head, I kind of wanted to hop in here and make a quick video of the resources that I used and some of the tips and tricks that I used while studying and actually writing the exam. So if you are in a similar journey and if this is something that is of interest to you, please keep watching. Okay, so my first tip is read the question properly. Now you might say, Sneha, this is so obvious. Everyone's going to read the question properly. But no, these are scenario-based questions. And when you read the scenario, you might kind of feel, okay, I know where they're going. I know what the answer is. But then the last line of the scenario-based question will be the actual question of whether they want you to answer in terms of low cost or high availability or performance. So, your entire answer kind of changes according to the question. So it's always a good idea to read the questions twice before you make that decision to click submit. The next one is find a study buddy. You have no idea how important and how useful this was for me because I studied this exam with my friend Vijay, and while studying for a certification, while having a full-time job and a million other things to do, it's easy to get tired. It's easy to lose that motivation. But when you have a study buddy, you're always like, you have an accountability buddy, and you are always checking with the other person on how they're doing, how much have they completed, what level of confidence do they have, things like that. And there are a number of resources that we used. We kind of bought few resources each and kind of shared it with each other, and then whenever I came across some articles or some useful cheat sheets, I would send it to her and then she would send some to me. So these were very helpful to keep ourselves motivated through this entire process. So it's always a good idea to find a study buddy, someone who's equally motivated as you, someone who's equally into this, and get it done together. And the achievement when both of us get out of it successfully is great. So do yourself a favor and find someone who's in a similar journey and kind of do this together with them so that you can complete this successfully while also enjoying the journey. The next is use the process of elimination. Usually in these scenario-based questions, you'll definitely able to, out of the 4 choices, you'll definitely be able to find at least 2 choices which are absurd, which just aren't right. So you can use the process of elimination and remove those 2 options. And then you'll be stuck with 2 options which are kind of similar, which will really make you think, and it may even be confusing. But using the process of elimination, just remove the ones that you surely know are not the answers, and then, try to sit and think between the other 2 options that you have. The next one is use the mark for review button wisely. So while writing the exam, these are multiple choice exams, right? So while actually going across the questions, if you feel like you don't know the answer to this question, mark the answer that you think is your best bet and then mark it for review. Because when you're going to the exam and then if you run out of time, you may not really have time to go back to go through your mark for review, and then you have 65 questions and you have to keep scrolling through to see all your questions that you marked for review. So it's a good option to mark whatever is your best bet and then mark it for review, so that even if you run out of time and if you don't have time to go back and visit those questions, you still have your best bet in that. So you still don't really lose marks if by chance it gets right. So the next one is take practice exams at home. Taking practice exams at home really boosts up your confidence. You get familiar with the exam pattern, with the exam questions, the way you can practice your process of elimination and a lot of good things like that. So it's always a good idea to buy practice exams and take practice exams at home before you go for the exam, because it helps you even with time management to know how you're doing in the amount of time that's allocated for the exam. The next one is make notes for revision. When I was studying for this exam, I would take screenshots of the tables that I came across. There are so many different things where you need to remember the IOPS and throughput and the memory and things like that, whatever values that are there. So it's always a good idea to take a screenshot and put it in a folder where it's easy for you to revise, that last minute before going to the exam hall. You need to see some things to keep it fresh in your head. So it really helps you with all those things, because in the end, it might take you so much time to go through those things all over again, from FAQs or the different courses that you had or the different articles that you went through. So whenever you find some good content, just take a screenshot of it and keep it for your notes. The next one is hands-on lab practice. So this exam, you cannot fool and pass the associate exam by just studying some theory stuff. Maybe you may be able to if you're lucky and if you're super smart, but you really need, this exam is made in such a way that you need hands-on lab practice, and you need to actually know the system. You really need to be familiar with to pass this exam freely. So make sure that you take some time and create an AWS free tier and practice using your account, because that will definitely make a huge difference. Okay, so in terms of resources, the first thing that I used was I went through the A Cloud Guru course. It's the associate course, which takes you through the basics and of all of the. So these are all, like, all the basics that you need to know for this exam is covered in this course. And after taking this basic course, what I did was I went through the professional course to kind of revise everything that I learned from the basic course. I felt like the professional course was so much better for me because it kind of put everything in perspective, and it was a great revision. So I really liked the professional course, but if you're paying money for each and every course, I wouldn't suggest that. I did this only because I had an account where I had everything that was available in Cloud Guru, so I had access to all these courses. So it was a great way for me to revise what I learned in the associate using the professional course. The next one that I highly recommend is the Adrian Cantrell, the course, because he has a way of really explaining the basics and the background and everything in a very nice way. So I really enjoyed his course. Again, because I was studying with my friend, I bought some courses and she bought some courses, and we were kind of sharing it. It may get expensive. This is $40, and then the other courses and everything. So if I suggest, if you're looking for only one course from the basics, then I would really go for the Adrian Cantrell course. Sorry, Cloud Guru fans, but I felt like this course was going in depth and really, talking to me about the concepts and everything. So I really liked it. I would prefer this one. And then for my practice exams, I used Wiz Labs and I used Tutorials Dojo. That is this one. And I really enjoyed both of them. And each one of them had a good set of questions, and they were all reviewed, and they had some good explanations, and the explanations from these practice exams are a good place for you to take snapshots for your notes for your last minute preparation. Again, if you had to choose between Wiz Labs and Tutorials Dojo because of budget constraints, I would suggest you go with Tutorials Dojo, because I felt like that one was more I felt like it was kind of very similar to my actual test. So I was a little partial towards Tutorials Dojo. But then again, these are all great resources. Each and every one of them have put in a lot of hard work, and they were all equally good. What I'm telling you is only if you have budget constraints, and if you have to just buy one out of the two, then, if I were in your place, I would do that. So yeah, that's the thing. And then let me show you the most important thing ever. So the FAQs was really the one that really made a huge difference for me. So after learning through the basics and before going to the practice test, I did the FAQs, because the FAQs really strengthen your knowledge, and it's a good way for you to get all the information that you need in one place. Now, again, there are so many FAQs, and another thing about FAQs is they were very similar to the questions that were asked. So I really liked, I felt like if there was something that really worked for me, then that was the FAQs. So there are so many FAQs in this, and I did not go through each and every one of them. I went through only the top most important ones. For me, the top most important ones were EC2, S3, EC2 auto scaling, storage gateway, and the file storage, API gateway, and what else? Don't quote me on this, guys. I'm telling you what I found helpful. If you don't get these, don't sue me. It's not onto me, okay? So these were the main things, and I'll write it in my blog post so that you have some information over there. I'll link my blog post in the description below, and you'll be able to see that. And I'll also have the links to the resources that I mentioned, so you have them all in one place. Again, go through the FAQs as much as you can, and if you have time, go through all of them. But if you don't have time, then search in Google what kind of questions people are getting, and try to go and read those FAQs, so you've kind of covered those topics. And that's what I did. That's why I don't want to like tell you study only this, because I may be wrong. That's what I did, but I may be wrong. So I leave it up to you to go search on Google on what people have found, what kind of questions people found in their exams, and try to go and read the FAQs of those topics so you have them covered. And when you do the practice exams, you get some more questions. Honestly, there were some questions that were kind of really repeated from the practice tests. So that should also give you a good idea of what kind of questions you'll get. And then when you read something in the practice test, and when you feel like you don't know anything about it, jump to FAQs and kind of read through that topic. So keep doing that together, and you'll be able to prepare yourself really well for the exam, and you'll definitely pass the test. And definitely have hands-on experience as well. If you're able to create the VPC section, like go through the Cloud Guru or whichever source that you take, go through those chapters and try to create everything that they're creating from start to finish. Even if you don't do that for anything else, do that for VPCs, because that'll really help you strengthen your knowledge on VPCs, which are very important. And yeah, so that is all I had. Good luck, and I hope you found this helpful. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel, because that really helps us grow. Thank you so much.